everybody. This is so exciting, and I'm just so honored to share with you guys. This is something that has been in my heart for a long time, to do this herd connection concept and share with you in this way. And I'm in the van. I have little Marisol here with me, actually actively nursing at the moment. And the other two wild I ams of mine are wild in our house right now. So anyway, that is the beauty in how we can connect this way. It doesn't matter where we are. We can all unify together and join in the powerful support that the horses so willingly offer us. So I just want to use this first show and this first opening to share a little bit about kind of why I feel led to do this and what this is. I Am Herd is a nonprofit that I founded a couple years back, and it was, my inspiration for it really was born from how horses have helped me so much and continue to on a deeply personal level, in my own connection with myself, with my inner self. They have just gifted me this amazing kind of portal to connect with who I am. And it's something I experienced ever since I was a small child. I didn't really know what it was when I was a small child, but basically if I was thinking about a horse in any way, I felt like more me. I felt like I was more connected, not only connected, but I was more of myself when just thinking about a horse. And as I've gone through, the years that I've had thus far in this vessel, horses have continued to just transform me in many ways. And I Am Herd is here to assist others in experiencing that transformation as well. I Am Herd offers retreats, and I Am Herd also sponsors individuals to experience many different retreats that all have the same theme, which is that horses are helping humans to hear their own hearts. So I just felt like it was a natural progression for I Am Herd to step even out a step further and connect with even more souls in this way. So what we're going to be doing in 2018 is once a month, we're going to have a program like this. And the first half of the program is a place of exploration. It's a place where we will interview. I'll interview different visionaries, different practitioners that all partner with horses in their own unique ways to assist humans in hearing their own hearts. So it'll give us a wonderful opportunity to explore many different ways that this can be done. And then she woke up. And then in addition, the second half of the program is going to be an experiential part. And we're actually going to join together in a herd, our own two-legged and four-legged herd. And we're going to join in an experience that we can share online through cyberspace like this. And we can actually experience and feel how horses can assist this process of self-uncovery, as I like to call it. So this first program, I'm going to be basically interviewing back and forth with myself. I'm going to interview myself so that I can share with you, where I'm coming from more. And I'm going to be interviewing my co-host as well. Now, in the future, we'll bring on additional people, and this first part of the program will be to interview them. But I felt like for this first show, I really want to give you guys a feel for who it is that's hosting and what we're about. And also it just feels good to connect with my co-host in this way and share with you guys. You are going to love her and her herd, and her name is Sabina. She has a beautiful herd of light, as she calls them, four amazing four-legged healers that live with her. And Miss Sabina, I'm going to you may be muted. Will you unmute yourself, Miss Sabina, and please just say hello?
Oh, yes, I'm unmuted, and I'm just bursting with joy to be here. I'm so honored. It seems a bit dreamlike, actually. And especially on this New Year's Day, it could not be more auspicious to be with you all.
Oh, yes, I completely agree. And I absolutely love that Sabina is physically out there, you know, with her herd, and you all can see, because as we move into the experiential part of this program, it's just palpable. That word. You can feel it, you can touch it, you can feel the support of these horses as they surround Sabina. And my amazing partners that I call the Wild Mustang Guides, they are on the farm, just on the other side of the door of the van. But at this stage in my life, I am gonna embrace myself with my little two-legged partner here for you all today. So I do want to let you guys.
We feel the Wild Mustangs. We feel the Wild Mustangs and the horses of anyone here. You know, they are all with us. Not limited to whether you can see them on the screen or not.
Yes, I completely agree. And speaking of that, Sabina, when we move into the second half and do the experiential part, you know, I think it would be amazing if you invited, like you do with the beautiful show that you do on Sundays, and I'll definitely speak more about that so people can know how to connect to that as well. But where basically the participants voice their animal companions. I think it would be beautiful for, in part of your opening for the meditation, if we could do that as well, because it's so powerful when you hear each person share their horses or a horse that's in their heart. So that just came to me. But
Perfect.
I do want to let everyone know that we are recording this. You know, there's going to be some people that can connect with us live, but some that cannot. So we will share the replay. And we're going to have some time for reflection at the end. And I so hope some of you will feel led to share your thoughts. But do keep in mind that we are recording it, and we are going to share it. So anything that you share verbally, you know, will be shared in that way. Also, to any of you that are new to this format of Zoom, you are free to take your video, share off if you want, and then it'll just show your name, or you can leave the little video clip on, which I love as well. So you have the freedom to do that. We're going to keep everybody muted for the beginning of the show, just for the sound quality, and then we will. Then you can unmute yourself at the end for the reflection. So we're going to move into the exploration interview part. And as I said, Sabina and I are going to kind of go through this interview process and interview one another for this piece. And I would love to open the question to you, Sabina. First question that comes to me is, how is it that horses have assisted you in your personal development and inner discovery?
Yeah, that's a vast question, isn't it? So horses have been only in my life for 7 years. You know, I've been alive for over 4 decades. And they came to me quite mysteriously. I had never longed to be with horses as a child. So I missed out on that, having them really be part of my upbringing. But as my life unfolded, the focus of my life became one of meditation and of learning more about the subtle landscapes of who we are. And so I could not in any way separate out the fact that 3 horses were arriving into my life from Arizona, who I had never met before. That's a whole other story of how they came. But I could not separate the fact that these horses were going to be interwoven into a discovery about consciousness, how to meld human consciousness, which I had been studying in myself for decades, and how to meld horse consciousness, which was a bit of a new terrain for me. But what I discovered was that horse consciousness is not that different from all the spiritual teachers that I had sat with in meditation. And I'm still in awe of that. So what they have supported for me is to have spiritual masters living with me. I mean, to me, they are horses, of course, and we're not projecting some gloriousness onto them, and yet their gloriousness is pretty evident when one spends time being with them. So how they've changed me. Of course, I had no idea how to ride. Of course, I had no idea how to lead a horse. Had no idea what a hoof looked like underneath it. So all these physical things really helped me embody myself. Learning from the ground up. Now have a beautiful trail horse. But really what they have done is they've allowed me to develop an inner muscle that is a slower rhythm than what most humans support. And that slower rhythm is so much more aligned with my nature and our nature as natural beings. So they've just offered me a world of unlimited nourishment.
You speak of that, them slowing you down a bit. And as I, kind of think about the same question posed to myself, how is it that horses have influenced my own personal growth? That is it. And I was a little different. From your story, in the sense that I did grow up with horses. My grandfather had horses when I was a baby, the size of little Mira. My mom was holding me in front of her. And when I was around 2 or 3, she would put me in front of the saddle, and we would go on in these, basically, they're called bird dog field trials, but you basically ride in a large gallery of horses, a group of horses together, or gaited horses, walking horses, so they're smooth, and they can cover a lot of ground, without bouncing. So my mom would put me in front of her on the horse as she would ride, and I would sleep. And all the people that were around her riding would tell her, put that baby in the dog wagon, because there was a truck that would follow the herd of horses that would carry kennels with the dogs in it. And these dogs would be, that's what this was. It's a sport. And they didn't actually shoot anything, thankfully. It was a judged sport, and the dogs would basically hunt the quail, and then the gallery, the horse group of horses, would follow. So the people would tell my mom to take that baby out and put her in the dog wagon so that she can sleep. I already was asleep. And she tried a time or two, and as soon as she would put me down in the seat of the dog wagon, I would wake up and start crying and want to go back to riding on the horse with my mom. So there's something very powerful for me that has been ingrained, imprinted in me since I was very small that the horses have offered. And for me, it's always been a place of safety, of peace, and of comfort. And as I went through, childhood and adolescence, I was very insecure. I'm still actually quite shy if I'm not really tuned into this inner place, and in school, it was very superficial, when I'm seeing the girls at school and they seem so happy and they all have the perfect clothes and their hair's perfect. And I'm thinking that, that I want to be like them because they seem to have it all figured out. And, and I just feel so shy and insecure and afraid, to even be close to them. And I had this really transformational experience happen in middle school. We all know, middle school. In middle school, I was in the hallway, and one of the most popular girls at school was coming towards me. And I just felt myself just shrink. I mean, my spirit was just like, it crawled down into my pinky toe. I was absolutely just terrified to even walk past this girl. It's kind of silly to think about it, but it wasn't silly. And she's coming towards me in the hallway. I'm getting ready to pass her, and I'm just feeling so small. And I had this voice say to me, or this knowing appear, and it said, "Get on a horse. Get on a horse." And I did. I didn't question it. I didn't question the fact that I was in school and there was no horse around, and I was in the hallway surrounded by lockers. In my mind, I got on a horse and immediately started cantering circles in my mind around this popular chick, right? And I tangibly felt my spirit grow from hiding inside of my pinky toe to swelling to fill my entire vessel, and it kept going. It didn't stop there. It filled the entire hallway at the school. It filled the entire school. It kept going. I mean, it was so vast, and I could feel it. And in that moment, I had this clarity in 7th grade that I was so much bigger than whatever it was that I was afraid of. And it wasn't about feeling better than this girl. It wasn't about superiority. That didn't even matter. I mean, it was something totally beyond the world and ego and the scene. It was something that felt so real and was and is so real. And as I have gone through other transformational experiences in my life, I just keep coming back to that feeling. And I think that for me is the best way I can share how horses have transformed me. They have gifted me myself. They truly have. And I've spent quite a few years in competition and got very involved in the Mustang makeover world. And, all of that had its time and place, and I'm so grateful for those experiences. But I'm at a place now that I feel is quite unique. And I used to have such an inner desire to compete. I mean, there was a time I could not imagine not wanting to compete. It was kind of how I felt confident in a way. And it's like now that desire has been taken from me. And in place of that, I have this overwhelming desire to share with you, to share with everyone that is open to it, this feeling of pure spirit that is within me that the horses ignite and support and hold space for and magnify for me. So when I connect with people like Sabina that have such a beautiful way of aligning with this process of helping others in experiencing this, it makes me so excited, and it makes me want to share more with all of you. And I would love, Sabina, one time, I don't know if you told me or if I heard you telling someone else, but you said that you were trying to describe to someone what it feels like when you are basically meditating with the herd, and you referred to the four horses in a certain way. Do you remember? Do you remember sharing that? Do you remember the story I'm speaking of?
No, could you give me a few more cues?
Well, I don't want to put the wrong words on it, but you basically refer to the horses as basically being like
Oh,
yogi
yeah.
mats. Yeah, okay. Could you share that?
Got it. Okay. Yes, so someone, I remember I was just in mainstream life, and someone, I had mentioned that I love to experience sharing meditations with people in the presence of horses. And she really had never heard of something like that, which is understandable. And so I was wondering of a way to bridge for her what that feels like. And so I said, well, imagine as if you sit down and all of a sudden 4 ancient Buddhist monks come and stand in the space with you. And they stand over you praying. What would that feel like? So that was something I think she could understand. Of course, you can put in your own most holy presence that works for you. But in California, you can, refer to any religion. Buddhism is very prevalent. So that made sense to her. Yeah, so that's how I explained it, to bridge the worlds a bit.
Yes. And I think that's what horses, I love that you brought up that in a little bit, the, different religions, because that's what horses do, I feel like, for us and for so many, is it's beyond anything that we could label. It's a feeling, and it's a feeling that they don't have to explain, that we don't even have to, that we can't really explain. That's been one of the biggest difficulties as I've moved into sharing this work with others, is now, how am I going to tell people what we do? You really have to feel it. It is a feeling that is indescribable.
Which is why you also wanted this to be partially a direct experience. So that could speak for itself, right?
Yes, exactly. And as we continue with this, with future programs, this first segment, will be for interviewing different visionaries that partner with horses in different ways, because there's more than one way. And horses, just like, they can do so many different disciplines. They can be someone's trail horse. They can, show. They can just be with you and hold space. They're so gifted in being so malleable at helping us and meeting us at where we need to be met as individuals. And so, because of that, I've found, as I've become very fascinated by this type of self-development, horse equine assisted self-development, I've become fascinated with the many ways that horses can assist. And I have my way that speaks to me. Sabina, has her ways, and we all, partner with the horses in the way that resonates for us as individuals. And so I think that's one of the things I'm excited about the Herd Connection with this monthly program, is to connect with many different visionaries and equine assisted practitioners, and we can explore the many ways that horses can assist. But as Sabina just mentioned, the best way is to just get in there and to feel it on an experiential level. So she and I have, we're going to partner on this second half of the program, and this is going to be something we offer on every program. That's the intent, is for Sabina and I to offer this experiential component. And the beautiful thing about this this way that the horses can assist is it can be done online, and you'll feel it in this space. It's not something where you have to physically be standing there, physically with the horse, although, you can, and that's amazing as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of blend the ways that Sabina and I connect and share. And I am going to first share a writing that I do. These are what I call wild I am messages, and they come from the Mustangs. It's something that the way that I feel it as I write these is I feel like I am unified with the Mustangs, and sometimes it is a particular Mustang that I feel really connected to. Sometimes it's the whole herd, and it's kind of like we join together and we share this message in words that then can be shared with others. And I am currently writing one of these a week, and I'm going to continue this through all of 2018. I share these with the member group that I've created with the Mustang herd. And I wanted to share one that was very, I feel, appropriate for the new year. And it is called The Wild I Am Reborn. And it's one that Clarity, the little Mustang pony Clarity that we adopted just last year, I haven't even had her a year yet, with the intent of being a partner for my oldest daughter. She is an amazing little Mustang pony, and she's the one that I really felt connected with on this writing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you a video that I took, actually quite similar to the opening of the show, of the Mustang herd, and to help you feel into these words. And I'm going to share the words, and then after that, Sabina is going to lead us with her herd of light into a meditation that we'll all experience together. And after this, we will have time to reflect together about it. So I'm going to just take a moment here to go to a share screen. Just takes me a second to click through the computer here and pull it up and pull up the video right here. We're going to use. The Wild I Am Reborn. All of the Mustangs, all the trees, all that lives and breathes, holds the wild I am reborn. I am Mustang Pony Clarity. I was born in Nevada. I lived in a wild Mustang herd where I ran beside my mother, nursing from her, grazing at her side, and resting beneath her legs. My natal band comes from a long line of hardy, gritty, and highly intelligent Mustang ponies. Our Welsh pony ancestors were shipped over on boats to the New World to be used in the pitch black mines of Nevada. We had to be small and hardy, but we also had to be brave to face realities that were nothing like we had ever seen before. My ancestors knew the wild I am reborn, and I do too. Let me carry you on a personal visualization to better explain what I mean. Think about what it feels like to drift off to sleep. You may be able to remember the feeling best from a short nap during the day, that time when you're drifting off, but you're still awake enough to feel, remember that feeling. Or perhaps you recall the feeling best when you're gradually becoming awake. It's that sweet, peaceful feeling that you feel as you begin to slip over to the other side of the veil. Now, I want you to imagine that you're drifting off to sleep. Imagine as you ease into slumber, your spirit is softly scooped up and carried gently away from your physical body. Be at ease through this, as your physical body is still alive and will be right there waiting for your return. Your spirit is taken to a place where foresight and hindsight intersect perfectly, a place where all is known, yet nothing is asked. You bathe in this place. You become entrained to the rhythm of the music that is all around. This dance pulsates through you, and a strong yet soft and steady glow begins to radiate from your core. You feel your spirit expand. It reaches outwards, becoming full of light and space. This feeling is more amazing than even that beautiful feeling of drifting off to sleep. It is indescribable, some mixture of deep appreciation and love for all, along with emotions we do not even have words to express. You arrive back to your physical body that's sleeping peaceful, awaiting your return. You slip back into this cloak, allowing your spirit to move fully into your heart space, your face, your arms, legs, fingers, toes. As your spirit fills your cloak of a body once again, but this time something different is happening, different than what you've ever experienced before. You remember. You remember who you just were. You remember all you were aware of on the other side of the veil. You remember who you are. Your spirit has been made anew. It is fully cleansed from any heaviness that was caused by your past life experiences. You are reborn, just like an infant is reborn as she moves through the birth canal and out into the new world of new life. You're just like that little infant with limitless potential to become, to do, to create, to be anything. But there's a difference. You have a body that has already developed domestic tools to help you navigate this seen world. There are many tools. Perhaps you can already walk. Maybe you can talk, hear, read. You have other types of tools as well, like your friends, connections, even your acquaintances. And perhaps you have gifts or talents that you've developed or an interest in developing further. Everything that has ever happened to you in your life has created domestic tools for you. Everything. Every habit, pattern, or quality of your human self is a tool. Obviously, there's some of these tools that you would rather not have and not use, and some you may really like. But regardless of how many domestic tools you like and how many you dislike, there is one thing that separates your reborn spirit from the reborn spirit of the newborn infant. And that is, you have the instant capability of making conscious decisions for your very own self. Are you hearing me? This is huge. What are you going to do with this situation you find yourself in? You have this body with all these domestic tools, and you have this spirit that now has full awareness of your ability to use these tools in any way you desire. You can toss out old patterns, old habits that no longer serve you. You can consciously choose to keep only the tools that you like. Basically, you can handpick from this vast array of qualities that you've developed over your years, tossing back what no longer aligns and only keeping what serves. So, how are you to know what tools to keep and what to toss? Well, I would think some of this might be obvious, and you probably know what I'm talking about. But for the more subtle decisions, that is when you must feel for it. Remember, your spirit just awoke from an entrainment with all you truly desire to be. The vibration is within you. Feel for it. Feel your way out of the dark and handpick your tools that you will use to build your next lighthouse. This kind of awareness is what quantum leaps are born of. This kind of awareness is available to you every new year, every new sunrise, every time you open your eyes. This kind of awareness is the wild I am reborn. What will you do now that you are aware? What will the world see when your wild I am is reborn? Sincerely, Wild Mustang Guide Clarity and Mary. Sabina, you were muted for a second, my dear. You're unmuted now.
We can entrain to their breathing and slow down. We can entrain to their heartbeat and invite the heartbeat to slow. We can entrain to their brain waves and allow our brain waves to expand. We're going to use the breath as an anchor for our attention. Let your breath lead you into your inner body. And let your breath guide you into the very center of your heart. And in the center of your heart, there is a light, as bright as a sun. With each breath, watch that light become fuller. With each exhalation, feel that light radiate out into your body. The rays of that light have a frequency, a vibration, a specific quality, maybe a color of compassion, a color or vibration of forgiveness. A clear light of simple awareness. Feel that flooding your inner body. And as this light begins to illuminate your inner landscape, notice that your inner body looks like a desert of sand. And in that sand, there are pathways that have been carved out over time. Pathways of mind, pathways of habit, pathways of experience and history. Just take a look through the eyes of the heart, through the light that the heart is casting out for you to see without judgment. A curiosity. What are these pathways in the sand? What are these tracks? Some seem quite luminous. Some darker, more trench-like. If you begin to feel judgment or even trying to understand them, dive deeper into your heart. And warm yourself with this heart light. And look again. All of these tracks in the sand, view them as an observer. And the heart has a call that it sends out, a siren call to the winds of grace that are going to come sweeping through this inner desert. These winds of grace are being called forth by your heart. These winds of grace are going to come through the top of your head, so open as widely as you can to grace. And we will practice breathing in and out through our mouth, which is a wind-like breath. And as the wind passes through, gusts of wind, loud and wise, they blow through, clearing all the tracks that no longer serve you, no longer serve your highest good, no longer are true to your truest purpose. They have an intelligence. You don't need to conduct them. Breathing through your mouth, exhaling through your mouth. Allow these winds to blow away all of the tracks no longer aligned with your truest desire and intention. And as the gusts prevail, anchor yourself, root yourself deeper into your heart. Feel secure and held as the winds pass through this desert of your inner world. And slowly, the winds subside. There's a settling, a peace, and a sheer simplicity that is this new landscape within you. This is the landscape of reborn. Simply breathe with it. There's no need to know how it will unfold. In this very moment, acknowledging the landscape, cleanse, full of clarity. And with your hand over your heart, you may simply bow to the grace, the alchemy, the awareness that quantum leaps are made of. Gently, we'll begin to transition our attention from the inner landscape to what appears to be the outer. Gently, beginning to wiggle fingers and toes. And when you're ready to open your eyes, seeing anew, with wonderment, through the eyes of reborn. Thank you for going on that journey together. It's a very powerful, direct experience when we all share it, but it's always there for us. Now amplified. So thank you for joining me and for your openness. Thank you for joining us, the herd, holding space. And I forgot to have everyone invite in the animals, Mary, but we'll do that another time.
That is entirely okay. They were there, and I am so grateful to you, Sabina, for being willing to partner with me in this way, and just jump in and create this space with the horses.
It's mutual. It's a mutual flow of gratitude, and I think we all feel it. Just grateful that we are coming together on this common ground.
Yes, it feels amazing, and I want to point. My eyes were closed some of the time, but some of the time I couldn't help but watch your herd around you, Sabina, and one of the things that I'm so fascinated with, the ways that the horses can support us, is this way that they can move energy through them for us.
Yeah.
I felt colors do this and there's no way I can get into this because it'll be a whole other show or 5.
And needs to be.
Well, it was huge, is huge. But it, her death, I felt something within me that was allowed to die. And I don't mean that as if in a negative way. I mean it in a beautiful way of rebirth. And she gifted me this process of taking this denseness, this old heaviness that was part of me, and composting it for me, taking it and moving it through her amazing vessel, and moving it into the earth, and through her support, then bringing it back around. And what I experienced was, every time that I would feel my heart mourn for her and break, I would feel this opening. And sometimes I would want to run away from it because it hurts. But every time that I could remind myself and consciously allow myself to feel it, to feel that opening, I would simultaneously feel this hole being created within me, and simultaneously feel this energy being poured out of that hole and yet back in at the same time. This made a new energy that she was circulating for me. And that's just a small summary of this powerful example.
Yeah,
But
I remember you talking about the hole that's left by a passing, and yet the complete opening to what it becomes filled with, but the two happening almost simultaneously.
Yes, it is, and it still continues. It has not stopped. Every time my awareness goes to missing her presence. I mean, this was the horse that my daughter, that I could trust with anyone. She would take care of the girls sitting on her back. I mean, you know, I would never have wanted to lose any of them, but she would have honestly been the last on the list if I had. I mean, she is amazing in that vessel. And so there was a lot to grieve for, and is a lot to grieve for. But every time that grief begins, it opens this cycle of reborn. And I see it happening as I see your horses. I see the same process happening, that we can all, just like I can tap into it when I start to grieve for her. It's like it ignites the power of this cycle just by the awareness of their support and the willingness to entrain with their amazing vibration. We're gifted that same healing, aren't we? I know you feel it, Sabina.
Yes, and the grief is a doorway into the deepest place of your heart. If and when one is ready for that, and the deepest doorway of one's heart is a non-dual place. It's a place where birth and death are not separate.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a doorway for sure where there's a giving and a receiving that happens simultaneously, a letting go and a reborn.
Yes. And how just brilliant for the timing to be right now when, you know, the collective and the two-legged world is so open to looking for birth. And perhaps we need to be equally open to allowing for death. In order for that.
Well, we just let go of what we call an old year. That's a death.
That is, we let it die.
Yeah. We didn't have a choice, you know, but yet, but yet what did we focus on? We focused also on the newness of the potentiality that we yearn for. Yes.
I would love to open this time if anyone would like to unmute theirself and has anything they would like to share, whether it feels relevant or not. You would love to share the floor with you.
Yeah, nothing's off topic. Any questions that anyone might have, or any experiences that they've had, that you have had, or even the meditation of reborn, if you want to share your experience, or your intention for the new year. Whatever you speak out into the space is an offering, and it's also it's a treasure. It's a treasure to offer. It's okay if there isn't anything, because it's understandable. You know, we went so deep in an experience together of reborn, and everyone is a bit newborn, aren't we?
We are all infants. There is no doubt.
So it's okay. Mary, what was the meditation like for you? The reborn meditation, following on the footsteps of your reading?
Oh, your the visualization of the desert and the lines in the desert. Oh, that was huge for me. And seeing the lines that are deeply treaded out, deep trenches. And I often visualize our brain in that way. And I visualize the intersections and the roads that are like highways that we go down again and again. And the, building a new road is you've got to kind of go out into the bushes. There's no road there yet if we've yet to walk it. But the visualization of seeing that new road lit up by spirit, by light, that was very powerful for me. And for me, the light was so strong that it was brighter than those dark trenches. And that awareness that though in this body, those trenches may be easier to physically take our feet down because we've treaded them so many times, that in reality, when we tune into that inner awareness of the road that is lit before us, that it is so much more powerful. That was deep. That was big for me. There's a lot I'm working on myself, as I know many are in transformation. I'm far from done on me. I have a lot to go, a long ways to go.
Yeah. Don't we all? And yet it's really good to remember that there are these winds of grace that can do a lot for us, that we don't have to do all the work, to be open to that, to align with that, to stay anchored in a place for that to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm glad it was a powerful experience for you, and I hope for everyone too.
It was, and for me personally, I mean, I'm gonna watch the replay and do it again in another space where I can just dive in even deeper.
I will too.
Yeah. For the new year, it's just the timing could not be more perfect. So, I would like to let everyone know that we are, like I said, going to be offering a replay of this that you can watch anytime. And what I'm going to do is put together a monthly newsletter that's called The Heard Connection, and put out by I Am Heard. And I'm going to send out a newsletter that is going to contain a link to the replay of our live session for the month. And then it's also going to contain some written information. I will share the posting of The Wild I Am Reborn that I read. I'll share that. And in the future, we'll share more about whoever we have on the show, and it'll be just a place to have kind of all the information that the show was meant to gift and share in a place where we can find it. So in order to receive this newsletter, if you want to, you can go to iamheard.org, and there's a link where you can join our mailing list. You're welcome to do that. I also will be posting to the Facebook page, the I Am Heard Facebook page. I'll post the newsletter. But I love to have a way to connect with people beyond Facebook as well, just because as realities shift and things change, who knows what networking system is going to be the go-to. And right now it's Facebook, but it's really nice to have a list of emails so that we can all stay connected in case at some point it's not Facebook, and then I can still reach out to you guys and connect in that way. So would love to have you join the mailing list, and would also love to have you, watch the I Am Heard Facebook page, and I'll share everything there. And I just
and I think it would also be good to mention the membership group, because the Wild I Am, Mary offers every week to the membership group. And I've been really dying to share this one of Reborn, like publicly. Mm-hmm. And so I'm really excited to be able to do that. But being part of the membership group, you get one of these transmissions every week.
Oh,
So
you're so sweet, Sabina. Yes, and yeah. So I Am Heard is a nonprofit entity, but then I have with the Wild Mustang Guides, I have created my livelihood, and it's I've never been very good at doing things that did not resonate with me. And, this is something that deeply resonates with my soul. But as we all know, we need to buy hay for the horses as well and feed ourselves. So this has been a way, the membership group, there's it's only $17 a month to be a part of it. I also have a wonderful sponsorship position in place where some of our members have chosen to sponsor others. Because to be honest, it's really hard for me to do anything that involves money. I mean, I don't even feel like it's real.
I know, I'm the same way. And I'm so excited because I'm sponsoring someone for the new year.
Oh, yeah.
And that feels so good because there's somebody I know who I just love, and it feels so good to be able to share that. So the sponsorship is a brilliant thing. Brilliant thing.
It's been wonderful. It's been wonderful, and I've been really touched by those that that have decided to do that. So yes, anyone that feels led to be a part of that, I would so welcome you. And you can easily find that the MMJ and Wild Mustang Guides is the Facebook page, and MaryMillerJordan.com is my personal Facebook page where you could actually sign up for that, and you can cancel at any time. So thank you so much, Sabina, for bringing that up and offering that. And thank you all for being a part of this and sharing in this space. And if anyone, I just saw a face pop up. If anyone would like to say anything, again, you're welcome. But I would really, really like to just offer a sincere thanks from myself and from the Mustangs for sharing in this space together. And I really look forward to doing it again. This is going to be a fun monthly offering that we do.
Yeah, I can feel everyone's heart and really deep intention, and just exploring together is very powerful. So rivers of gratitude to everyone, and to my little herd here, Yoshi,
Sabina, and Mary, for offering this. Thank you. It's been wonderful basking in the heart energy, and I didn't want to share because then I'd have to re-engage my mind to put words to it.
That's wise. That's wise. Yes. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you so much, Lauren, for just being a part in every way. I hope that your vessel knows just how appreciated you are. Your heart is so huge, and I feel it. And every time I see your name come up when I do any kind of live anything, I always have this wash over me, this feeling of, okay, thank goodness Lauren's here. This will be. It's like you don't have to say anything. I feel the vibration.
There's a feeling of being seen. Like a feeling of being seen, really being seen. So
thank you both so much. What a compliment.
It's for receiving it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, and no one else should speak because you might have to receive something too.
This is true. We might tell you how much we love you too. Receiving is hard. It's a lot easier to throw it out there than to take it and put it in our heart. We're conditioned to not do that. Yeah. So thank you for receiving, and thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to do what I'm not good at and go ahead and close this out. And I would very much look forward to connecting with you all further. So,
yes, wave of newborn, new year blessings.
Yes, yes. Reborn we are. Reborn.